Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm Shelly Lawson, your friendly neighborhood author, and it's been a hot minute since I've uploaded a video, but I have a very special announcement to make and a little treat for you guys, so stick around. First off, if you're new to this channel, please do me a favor and click that subscribe button so you can be in on the fun. In If you're not new to this channel, you may remember my first book, A Change of Pace, which I have right here. I just got some new copies in stock today, so I will be selling them over on my Facebook fan page, which I will provide a link to in the description of this video. But the reason for today's video is that I just released a new book. It's a young adult novella called The Solomon Conundrum. And as a special treat for you guys, I'm going to be reading a short passage from it. So here goes. Regan sat on the rock-hard bed, or at least what could pass for one in circumstances such as these, in the dark, dusty room of the safe house that Mother Christine had brought her to. How she had a safe house so far from their home in New Mexico, she had no idea. Perhaps Mother Christine had family here as well. Mother Christine had tied her wrists in a special knot, and as it was close to cutting off her circulation, she panted as she worked frantically at the rope to free herself. After several minutes of struggling, she needed a break to catch her breath. She wasn't even sure why Mother Christine thought she needed to tie her up in the first place, seeing as how she already had Regan in a room with 3 locks on the door and bars on the window, which was the only source of light that Regan had, dull as it was in the early evening. As brilliant as Mother Christine seemed to think she was, sometimes that woman did things that didn't make a lot of sense. Though she had nothing with which to tell the actual time, Regan could tell by the majestic pink and purple colors in the sky that dusk was upon her. She usually loved this time of day, with its comforting sunsets and playful fireflies, but not tonight. Tonight had a different vibe. Being kidnapped by your former foster mother and kept in a strange place with bars on the windows will do that. Regan suddenly stopped what she was doing, as she was sure she had heard footsteps coming toward the door. Mother Christine was here. God only knew what punishment she had planned for Regan. Now, she heard the keys sliding into each lock, jiggling in between as Mother Christine sorted through them to find the next one. The other keys on the ring slapping the door with no particular rhythm. Regan hurried to get into bed so that Mother Christine thought she was sleeping, and maybe she wouldn't bother her. When she finished unlocking all the locks on the door, she cracked the door. Then Regan guessed she saw her in bed because she thought she shut the door and began relocking the myriad of locks. When she finished locking the door back up and her footsteps became softer, Reagan jumped up and resumed trying to free herself from her gnarled restraints. Mother Christine may have thought she had her right where she wanted her, but as always, she had a plan. It was risky, but she had to try. Her real family was out there, and she would get back to them if it was the last thing she ever did. 3 weeks earlier, the shrill morning bell tolled through the group home. Groaning and stretching, Reagan pulled back the covers. She swung her legs over the side of the bed, assaulted by the sting of the cold wood laminate on her bare feet. Her feet slapped the floor as she quickly walked across the small room, glancing at the clock flashing 7:01 a.m. Valentina, Reagan whispered to her foster sister and roommate as she tried to shake her awake. Valentina, hurry up, or Grady is going to get all the good cereal again. Groaning, she rolled over and rolled over to face Reagan. Morning already, huh? At only 14, Valentina was a couple years younger than Reagan and new to the group home. Understandably, she was having quite a bit of trouble adjusting to life in the group home, whereas Reagan had been at this group home for basically her whole life. With Reagan's helpful nature, she tried her best to make Valentina feel as comfortable as the circumstances allowed. The two shared everything from hairbrushes to secrets with one another. In a way, she really did think of her as a little sister. She was going to be sad to leave her behind when she went to find her birth parents, as she had been planning for some time. Valentina threw back the covers and finally sat up. Reagan grabbed her arm to help her, then gave her some space so that she could swing her legs over and slide her feet into her slippers. Then together they made a beeline for the door. When they got to the table, their foster brother Grady, who was 6 months older than Reagan, was indeed at the kitchen table, pouring massive amounts of cereal into his bowl. So he he wiped his nose with his scrawny arm, looked at the two girls, and grunted his acknowledgment. Right on schedule, their foster mother, Mother Christine, dressed in her usual garb of a dowdy black felt dress, entered the room. Her hair was pinned up in a tight bun. She came into the kitchen with the riding crop she used to whack the children on whichever body part was conveniently located for her whenever anything, didn't go her way, be it one of the children didn't do their chores fast enough, the coffee pot was broken, it was raining that day, or simply because she woke up on the wrong side of the bed. Good morning, children. She slapped the riding crop against her palm as she looked over at where Valentina and Reagan were standing, then began to scan the room. watching for the slightest thing that might be out of place. Sit up straight, she struck little Sawyer, who was only 5 years old, on the shoulder with the riding crop. He yelped as he straightened up his posture. I hate slouchers, she growled as she twisted her face into an expression that Regan had never seen anyone else make before. As they didn't have a table big enough for all of them to sit and eat at the same time, Regan stood against the wall and waited her turn. I wonder if she had a horse at some time in her life, or if she had the riding crop because she was into some kind of kinky games in the bedroom, Regan thought to herself. The thought was so ridiculous that Regan had to cover her mouth with her hands to stifle a laugh. You got something to say, Miss Regan? She pointed the riding crop at her, which Regan found even funnier, so much so that she had to excuse herself. Excuse me, she said, as she turned around and headed back toward her bedroom to regain her composure. Audrey Parrish sat in her silver minivan in the parking garage, waiting for her husband, Owen, and son, Brendan. You know what? I'm going to stop there. Yeah, I'm going to stop at that. I hope you guys enjoyed that first section of my new book, The Solomon Conundrum. This one is only available on Amazon for now until I can get some in stock, and I will provide the link to that in the description as well. I hope you enjoyed this video. That is all I have for you today. Please subscribe, hit the subscribe button, and I will see you guys the next time I make a video.